about that. Okay, hey everyone, this is Martin from How to Make Mobile Games. Today is June the 25th, 26th, I think. I never remember the date. June 26th, 2014. There we go, just updated. I'm broadcasting on my other Mac at the moment, and the connection this past few weeks has been really bad. So I might appear blurry, and hopefully this video isn't too horrible. Hopefully it's at least you can hear the audio. That's what I'm hoping. But please let me know if this came through clearly or not. And so I wanted to catch up on a video and do some more because I've not done any in a long time. The bad connection that we've had the past few weeks here. I just finished my lunch and I'm about to do some more work, but I'd seen this video on YouTube, and I often do searches for sort of business-related videos on YouTube, like documentaries talking about entrepreneurs and talking about how to make money and the money and how money works and the money system in general, these kind of things like this. And you know, partly because it's interesting and I like it, and partly because it helps me and it gives me some ideas. But there's one I just seen now, and it's called New Millionaires. How are they making their millions? And I'll try to remember to put the link in the description. If I don't, though, guys, please remind me. And it was talking about these young entrepreneurs, new millionaires who make millions, you know, with their business. These are guys who are maybe in their 20s, or some of them at least. They said they were entrepreneurs in sort of their late teens, like 18, 19. It was really interesting. It was a video that talked about Keep. I think it's KIIP.me. Also some other ones called, I think it was Indinero, Dropbox.com, SoundCloud.com, a bunch of like new companies that turned up in sort of like around 2010, 2009, something like this. But the reason I wanted to talk about it is because whenever I watch these videos, what I get is like, one is I get inspiration and sort of, it kind of educates me a little bit as well. It helps me think, you know, oh, they did this way, and that's how other people did the business, and they're successful. Okay, great. Maybe we can, you know, we can start to sort of focus like that. But the other side of it is it actually kind of depresses me a little bit sometimes, because it's like you look at people or companies that are making millions and millions or whatever, and it's like, oh my God, what are we doing wrong, or what am I doing wrong? Why is this not happening to us, you know? And so it's kind of two sides, you know. I watch these things and I feel kind of inspired, but then on the other side, I'm like, wait, this is, I'm doing something very wrong here. And I start to second guess myself, which is always, which I think is pretty normal for somebody who starts a business, and I think probably a lot of the other guys out there who are doing mobile game development as independent developers will feel the same kind of way as well. So yeah, anyway, let me go down my notes. I wanted to have some kind of structure to this video. But yeah, as I was saying, like, I watched the video, it's good inspiration, but I think the video gives a little bit of the wrong impression. Whenever I see these videos about, oh, the new young entrepreneurs, the new businesses and so on, you get the feeling that, oh, wow, you know, yeah, I should just go to VC and I should just, you know, I could make money like them, and so many people out there are making millions and millions. No, absolutely no way. In my opinion, and I say it's my opinion because I don't know, I'm no expert in the numbers, but I believe like the mass majority of businesses out there fail. Okay, they just fail. I've read numbers like 90% of all businesses will fail in the first 3 years, or 75% in the first year, or something like this. And it gave the impression that, oh, you know, these entrepreneurs are doing so well, and that's how everybody does, you know. They start the business, it's a tech business, it's software, it's web-based, and that's how they make their millions, and everyone's doing this, so why are you not doing this? You know, what are we doing wrong? It's just, I think it gives the wrong impression because, yeah, just, you know, 99% probably of mobile game businesses or tech businesses probably just fail within the first few months or year. And I've met many studio startups who have been in the same situation. They've closed down, they've not got enough money. I've met others who have done pretty well and they've grown. But the message that I wanted to make in this video is one is to remind myself that, hey, it takes a huge amount of time to actually build a successful business from scratch. And the second reason is I wanted to give other people some kind of inspiration as well, possibly, to keep going and keep pushing as well. And that was sort of my second point here. It can take a really, really, really long time to build a stable, big business, 10 years plus. I've heard, like it's I'm trying to think of some examples. I can't think of anyone's right now, but it can take, like I read one the other week, which was like 7 or 8 years to build something, and they sold it for 20 million or something. But it took 7 or 8 years to really build the business and then get it to that sort of sellable point. I can't remember if they sold it privately or publicly, but it did take a long time to achieve that, a really long time. Sometimes, like, I'm talking about business with my wife because we work together, and she says, these other businesses, they achieve this, and the other businesses achieve that. Can we reach that level? And I'm saying, like, sure, of course we can reach that level. Why haven't we done it already? Well, obviously it does take time for things, but then I see the flip side. There's also so many like startup businesses that just crash and fail. There's this shop just downstairs around the corner where I was, we'd buy groceries and things, and they closed down recently. And that's just a normal business. Which just is like an off license, we say in England. It sells like, cans of Coke and, candy and groceries and so on. They closed down. Another mobile game business that we met a few years ago, roughly, 1.5 years ago, they closed down as well. They had, I think, probably 5 or 6 developers, and they built a really big, cool game. I mean, it was a game like Japan Life. And we were going to publish their game overseas, and we met them one day, and we were ready to we thought we were ready to go, and they said, "Oh, sorry, we're closing down. We've not got enough money." And so I often second guess. That's the thing I wanted to say is I often second guess, like, oh, should we be doing something different? Are we doing it wrong? Now, I don't think anybody, I don't think we're doing it wrong. I don't think anything is wrong. I think anything can improve, though. Like any business can improve, any process or streamline or opportunity can be made. So there's always room for improvement, anytime, of course. But doing something wrong is something I've started to sort of like ignore now. And what I mean is, like, for example, I see on this documentary here, I've seen, like, they say, oh, you're fixing a problem, or you're doing something new, or brand new entrepreneurs always do something new, or they always push the envelope, or they always bring something new into the market and give people things that they didn't know they wanted, before they wanted it. Like for example, you might say, like, oh, iTunes was introduced way before, I don't know, people even wanted it. Just for example, whatever. But then so I think, wait, but we're not doing anything that's very unique here. I mean, we publish mobile games, but we also make mobile games and publish them, and everybody's doing that. Okay, but there is areas to improve inside of that. If you publish a mobile game, there's also things that you can do to make it a little bit different. You don't have to be 100% different. That was the next point that I wanted to mention. You don't have to be completely different. I'm sure by the time that McDonald's was around in the 50s, we already had hamburgers, by the time Subway came around, I think it might have been the 70s, Subway sandwiches, we already had sandwiches. What's new? There's nothing. But the process that they did it, they made their sandwiches a little bit different. They made their process, their business model was a little bit different. They had like what do you call it, a production line style of making their sandwiches. Like you'd make a car, one person would, butter the bread or whatever, and then someone would put the meat inside, then someone would add the vegetables, and then someone would be at the point of sale to sell the sandwich and get the money. But sandwiches were already around, and so I think about that with mobile games as well, and mobile game publishing. We already have millions and millions and millions of mobile games out there. We have 3 main app stores in the West right now: iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play, of course. But I honestly believe that you don't have to do something completely different. You don't even have to focus on like, you know, oh, we shouldn't do games, we should do like banking or something like that, whatever. You don't need to do that. You simply need to improve the process and do something a little bit different. And that different thing might be a benefit to the end user. It might just be a business model change, okay? So one of the big things that we kind of changed recently in 2014, if those of you might have seen my New Year's resolution video, was to start hiring some more staff and not try to be the, you know, the one person that does everything, because that is not expandable. You know, you cannot do everything as an entrepreneur. In the beginning, yeah, that's probably necessary, and you wear different hats and you do different things, but eventually you have to start to hire and you start to delegate, and that's been a big change for me. So the business model changed in that sense for me. One is hiring other people to do things and help me, you know, really, and work together and get their ideas. But the second thing was to make games quickly. Now that's the business model change there. Don't spend 2 months building a game if you can't get the downloads and make the revenue. But if you can make a game quickly, you know, within 4 or 5 days, which is what we do now, and publish that game and then start to make revenue off that game, the user enjoys the experience. They might pass it on to their friends. They get the you know, they get to kill time and enjoy themselves for a brief period, which is what our games mainly do. You know, they're snack games, as I call them. They're not huge, you know, epic experiences. So they do achieve what they're kind of set out to do. So that was the other business model change as well. Those two things. One was sort of hiring people, and two was to make games faster and quicker, and then bring them into the market. And they aren't perfect. So you know, the business model changed. Like we said, Subway sandwiches. And a lot of people say as well, like, oh, you shouldn't enter the mobile game market now because it's too competitive. And it really is. It's super competitive now compared to 2009 or 10, when the app store was a pretty new idea. But what about, for example, restaurants? You know, like a restaurant. I mean, restaurants have been around for what? Thousands of years? I don't know, hundreds of years? I have no idea. You know, or bars, for example. And they still succeed. Some close, you know, some of them close down, most of them close down, but a lot of them do succeed, even though the idea of a bar or a restaurant is nothing new at all. It's a brand, it's nothing new. It's a completely used idea, and they're not doing something completely different. They are just maybe in a better location, or maybe they slightly decorated the place a little bit, or perhaps they have something a little bit unique, maybe a feeling of the environment. So they've done something a little bit different. You don't have to change the business model or turn the business model upside down in order to be successful. I really don't think you have to. So the main of this video anyway. And the other thing as well is that this documentary where they were talking about getting venture capital and getting money from like angel investors and VCs and so on. I looked into that a couple of years ago before I did start Cobble Play, and we did get a little bit of money to start Panda Tap Games as well. But for Cobble Play, in my gut, I don't want VC, and I often question that. And I often say, maybe that's wrong. Maybe I should go out and try and find VC, because it seems that everyone's doing it. You know, these guys like Dropbox and Keep, and they got millions of VC, but they didn't just get the money. They also got the, you know, the expertise of the VC team or people, whatever, to come and give you ideas and direction and support and marketing connections or whatever. So I always kind of second guess that, like, should we be looking for VC? But right now my gut just tells me no, and I'm wondering if that's right or wrong. And I did a video on it years ago, I think maybe a few months ago, and I asked the question, should we look for venture capital? But at the moment I still feel like no, we shouldn't do that, because one is we lose control, two, we have to it takes a lot of time and planning to do things like presentations. And I think I like the position that I'm in as well at the moment, is we can sort of decide which way we want to go without needing to sort of appease somebody else. But I want to know your opinion, guys. Do you think VC is necessary or not? Really, please let me know your ideas. Like, please comment. I'm very curious to see if, you know, VC is the way you should go or not. I'm very curious. So please let me know. Please let me know. But that, I think I was just looking at my point here, and I think that's all I wanted to talk about on this video. I wanted to keep it kind of short and sweet because I'm about to do a little bit more work and continue my my stuff here. But I think the last point I wanted to make to you guys. I did a couple of videos recently, I think this past 2 or 3 weeks. One was looking for some marketing staff, and one was looking for some programmers as well. I did get a lot of people about the marketing position, asking for the position. I just want to say thank you so much, guys, for your applications. Thank you so much for getting in touch. I didn't reply to everybody just because there was just so many and a huge amount of things to do. If I didn't reply, then please just be aware that I will keep, you know, all of your emails and contacts in sort of the, you know, the folder where I can catch up with you guys once we are hiring more staff. So we took on a full-time marketing ASO officer, which is going great, and we plan to expand more this year. Like I said, 2014 is the year of hiring more people to work with me together, and you know, programmers as well. I did a video recently about hiring some more programmers, and I've got a bunch of emails, and so I'm really sorry I've not replied to that either yet. Because we've just taken on a new marketing guy for Cobble Play. I wanted to sort of get that process a little bit clearer first before hiring a developer, because once I hire a developer, it requires a little bit of training, and that's going to take me some time, and I'm going to be basically not sleeping. So, but I am going to follow up with you guys. I do want to take on another developer for Cobble Play soon to do 2D simple games that can be created in roughly 4 to 5 days. So if you have emailed me, rest assured I will follow up with you guys. And I do thank you so much for sending me an email and being interested in joining me, because it's been awesome working with other people. Finally, working with other people, it's been great. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Please let me know if the quality of this video was okay or not. It looks real fuzzy to me, but if you can hear me okay, then that's great. And please, obviously, hit that like button below if you liked this video. Always the best way to support the channel. And subscribe if you have not. I'm going to try to do more of these sort of, you know, podcast-style vlog videos. So anyway, have an awesome day, everyone. Catch you all soon. Happy developing. Bye-bye.